Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Friends, we have received a question from Miss Maryam Khizr. Let's first listen to her question and then we come back and try to give an answer.
Assalamu alaikum, Abdul Basit Saab. Hope you are doing well. My name is Mariam Khizr, and my question is that how President Joe Biden's decisions regarding Afghan peace process are going to impact Pakistan, and please also throw some light upon future of Indo-Russian relations.
Thank you, Ms. Khizr, for your question. As far as Afghanistan is concerned, recently we have seen, I think it was yesterday, President Joe Biden made a remark while addressing a press conference that it seems difficult that the US would be able to leave Afghanistan or withdraw its troops from Afghanistan. So it is very clear, as I have been saying all along, that US is highly unlikely to leave Afghanistan. And now, on the other hand, we have seen an offer made by President Ashraf Ghani, the Kabul government, that they are ready to hold presidential elections in Afghanistan if the Taliban agree to ceasefire and also agree to participate in that election. So, which means that this intra-Afghan reconciliation talks are going nowhere. And because uh, President Ashraf Ghani has refused to step down to form an interim government as being, as is under discussion. And on the other hand, it is very difficult, seems, for the Taliban to accept Ashraf Ghani as head of the interim government. So these are two divergent or conflicting positions, and to bring them, together at one point, that seems highly unlikely to me because the Taliban would never, because if you go through the 29th February Accord of last year, it doesn't talk about that US would withdraw from Afghanistan only if the intra-Afghan reconciliation talks succeed. It was kind of a standalone agreement between the Taliban and the US. And according to the Taliban, they have agreed and they have complied with all the provisions which are stipulated or given in the agreement. So from the Taliban perspective, now if the US kind of resiles from its commitment as stipulated in the agreement, then obviously it will create a new situation for the Taliban. And as I look at it, to me it appears that the entire process is moving towards, to die its own death, in my view. And I am not very optimistic, unless some miracle happens, but I'm not very optimistic because both the US and other NATO countries are willing to continue or at least, not leave, withdraw their forces from Afghanistan, which number at, I think, around 10,000 at this point. So prospects are rather bleak when it comes to Afghanistan, and I predicted about 2 years ago that peace in Afghanistan will come only through war. I hope I am wrong, but this is what it is, and it looks that the situation is gradually moving in that direction. And it will have serious repercussions for Pakistan because we cannot afford to have another long civil war in Afghanistan because for its grave implications for us. So Pakistan is in a cleft stick. We do not know. I do not know. I'm sure our government people who are engaged in this process, they do have some idea, but I do not know how the entire process will pan out. And I, as a Pakistani, we all wish that Afghanistan and people of Afghanistan live in peace because peace is a kind of, in Afghanistan is a sine qua non for peace in Pakistan and our own development and for regional connectivity, regional development. So for us, peace in Afghanistan is important, but I do not see that coming through anytime soon. As for your second question, about Russia relations. Traditionally, Russia and India have been very good friends, and if you look at the defense inventory of India, is still 50 to 60% of Indian arms are still, Russian, and now they are also purchasing S-400 air-to-missile defense systems from Russia. It's worth $5.6 billion, I think. 4 or 5 systems they are purchasing from Russia. So I mean, there is kind of dependence, and there is mutual dependence. But I see the Quad, the initiative consisting of 4 countries: US, Australia, Japan, and India. Uh, India is steadily is moving towards the US, and they have kind of evolving a strategic partnership. Now that would raise concerns in Moscow. There is no doubt about that, because there are problems, and Russia and US considers China and Russia as biggest threats, especially China. And China and Russia, they are working together as to how to ensure or defy US hegemony, both in the region and in their own region, and Russia calls it near abroad, and at world at large. So as US India moves towards the US, and that would obviously create some fissures between the two countries. Those fissures may not be visible, but obviously we would see strains in their relations, especially in the context of SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, BRICS, and RIC. All these, plurilateral or multilateral organizations will come under a strain, and one doesn't know how things will really evolve, but it will be very difficult at some stage for India to have its cake and eat it too, because it becomes difficult how to balance these divergent or these conflicting, interests. For the US, if tensions brew or intensify between China and with China and Russia, then obviously it would have its impact on India as well. So we will have to wait and see. The jury is still out, though Russia is trying, China is also trying that to not to let India totally go into the camp of into the US camp, but I think India under Prime Minister Modi has taken a kind of decision to strengthen its strategic partnership with the US, and how India maintains its relations with Russia and China would not be that easy for India. So let's see. We are all waiting and watching the situation, and but as I said, it will be very difficult for India to really have best of both the worlds. Thank you very much.